Nobody with a heart has said, I love firing people. No, it's just not a fun thing to do. But it doesn't have to be nearly as hard or scary as many entrepreneurs build it up in their minds. Maybe you've had a bad experience, one that felt like a messy relationship breakup when you fired a team member in the past. Or maybe you've been avoiding hiring people entirely because you might at some point also need to fire someone. If fear of being the boss who fires someone has been stunting the growth of your company, then it's time for a mindset adjustment. Maybe you've been fired in the past and it sucked. Or maybe you've seen people breaking down in tears because they just got laid off. Certainly in the insane economic times caused by COVID, that reality has been far too real for many people. But if you're now an entrepreneur who's growing or considering how to lay the groundwork to grow your business, then it's time to reconsider whether the fear of having that firing conversation is a good reason to keep you from growing. Or maybe from making a change in your existing team that's been long overdue. I personally can think of several entrepreneurs who have a story about having been fired from their stable corporate job, and that event became the impetus that pushed them into starting their own business. They soon realized that getting fired was actually a huge gift in their lives because it pushed them to make a dramatic but necessary change. I'd guess that if you think about it, then you've probably met people who were fired from a job that was making them miserable. And getting fired freed them up to be creative and discover their true calling sometime in a completely different industry or direction. No question, getting fired hits our short-term stability, but it can be the best thing for both the person and the company in many circumstances. So perhaps it's time to reframe that moment in our minds and not allow it to hold us back. Because as entrepreneurs, as CEOs, as kick-ass bosses committed to building awesome companies, it's sometimes part of the job. Bottom line, nothing's gonna make firing fun, but there are strategies we can use as a boss to make it much less scary. So let me share a few of those strategies which I teach in the collaboration element of the Freedom Evolution method. Strategy number 1, provide continuous feedback. Getting fired for poor performance should never be a surprise. If you have a team member who's struggling, then give them the feedback and encouragement to learn how to improve. And then watch for their growth and change. Expect it to happen. Give them the opportunity to address the issues that you're seeing. And approach these conversations with a spirit of teamwork, coming alongside them, reflecting on the problems together to identify strategies and solutions. Feedback conversations don't need to be judgmental or heavy-handed or harsh. You can frame them with concern and compassion and a desire to see everyone improve and succeed. And that means you're much more likely to enroll your team member in the necessary changes and possibly turn your problem child into a superstar. Strategy number 2, don't drag it on. Particularly with a new hire, if you're providing feedback, direction, guidance about the work and the expectations needed, and they still aren't delivering what you're looking for after 30 to 60 days, call it. Firing people doesn't get any easier later. It only gets harder. And this is where that classic advice, hire slowly, fire quickly, is completely true. A team member who's not performing can drag down you and your entire team. And if you're the boss, you are the one responsible for protecting the whole team and the future of your company from the toxicity that a poor performer can infuse into your team culture. That's why if you've given them a chance to turn things around and your heart is still telling you this just isn't working, it's time to call it and move on. Strategy number 3, firing isn't a negotiation. When you've made the decision to let someone go, commit to it. It's done. Don't allow a desperate team member to convince you they'll change, let's give it another chance, because you're only prolonging the pain for everyone involved. The conversation should be more like ripping off a Band-Aid. Compassionate, direct, and above all, quick. If the feedback has been provided, time for improvement has passed, then once the decision is made, there's nothing left to be discussed or debated or belabored. Basically, you're admitting that you made a mistake. The person you hired simply isn't working out as desired for what the company needs. So own your mistake. Wish them all the best to find a position that's a better fit for their needs and their skills. Now, these 3 strategies alone will definitely help you navigate that first or next hiring conversation with a bit more grace. But if you're realizing that you're ready to grow your business, step into your future as the visionary CEO for your company, then you're also going to want to learn things about how to protect your company assets before a key team member gets asked to leave, or how to share the news gracefully with other team members without forcing people to get dirty, take sides. It's just nasty. You can also learn how to provide performance feedback without making someone feel defensive or like they're being attacked. And there's a great simple technique called broken record that avoids getting you dragged into a painful hash and rehash of everything they could have or should have done when it's finally time to part ways. And those are all the kinds of skills that I go into in much greater depth in the Freedom Evolution. So if you're realizing that it's time to ditch the fear and learn what it takes to own your future as a visionary CEO, then you'll definitely want to hop on over to chosencourse.com/I want more and start watching my free video series, The Road to Inspired Action. That's where you'll discover what's actually been keeping you stuck as an exhausted entrepreneur and what it will take to truly step into your future as a kick-ass boss and the visionary CEO for your business. Ready for the next level, freedom lover? You've got this.